It's time for York County Conversation, your weekly dive into the people and businesses shaping our community. With the Sanford Springvale Chamber of Commerce, we're proud to share stories behind the storefronts and the voices behind York County's growth. Together, we're building a stronger local economy, one conversation at a time. This is York County Conversations.
Who was the girl on 90210 that was the old lady? Not old.
Andrea. Sorry.
Andrea.
Not
yeah.
Andrea.
Andrea was like...
Zuckerman.
Yeah. Oh my God, you know the last name?
Oh, please. 90210 was like my lifeline. I was going to say, you don't even understand.
I don't.
Oh, 10 years of pure... And they were like 4 years older than me, so every time I'd be like, that's what high school's going to be like? Aww. And then I'd be in high school, be like, that's what college? Wow, that's what the real world... No, none of it is like that.
None of that.
Oh my God.
They made it much more exciting than my life was ever going to be.
That's funny.
Which is probably good.
Did you have anything that resembled the Peach Pit in your life?
Not really. I mean, I was in Manchester, so anywhere we went was kind of the Peach Pit, as if there was more than 5 of us at a time.
Yeah.
When Taco Bell came into the city, it was like big excitement. We had a Dairy Queen. I can't remember what the place in the west side was called, but yeah, wherever we were was the Peach Pit.
Sanford had the arcade.
The arcade.
Yeah.
I grew up in Orlando, so it was
Oh
a
my
little different.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, there was no just like one hangout spot. Parking lots after work. That was the hangout spot.
Main Street Marketplace.
Yeah.
There used to be a thing called Ed's Lunch. And Ed's Lunch would show up, and then all of us that have been hanging out in the parking lot. Can you imagine that today? I don't know if kids do that.
I was thinking about that the other
They're
day.
hanging out
Someone
in
was
their
saying
rooms,
hanging out in the
like,
parking lot.
you know.
I'm like, will the boys ever hang out in the parking lot? I don't know.
Like, we used to just hang out.
I would get out of work at 9:30 from Bradley's, and and in the summer, it was all the kids at night, so we would all just hang out till 10:30, and then go home, and it was like a party in the parking lot.
I don't
that's
think,
we just hung
I mean,
out.
I
and
don't
had
know.
fun,
I'm
and-
way past that, but I don't think
Yeah.
any of that's happening anymore. So
Can you imagine, though, like, just how, I don't know what the word is, but when you think of life, right, and your lens of it, the idea of hanging out in a sand pit for... you could not pay me to hang out in a sand pit for more than 15 minutes.
Well, let me tell you, that
we thought it was a good time.
There's still that going on.
Back then, yes.
No, I went to SRTC for a couple of years and had some friends that were up in the Sanford Wells area, and they have their places. They hang out and have their bonfires and have their trucks, and it's a whole different world.
Yeah, you know, there's nothing wrong with a good bonfire.
I know,
No.
right?
So,
They had some fun.
we had the Midtown Mall. We just sat in the parking lot for hours.
Yeah.
It's like the movie
Yeah.
Clerks.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, nice little trip down memory lane to get things started with York County Conversations. My name's Andy Austin, host of the York County's Morning Show here on Seacoast Oldies, along with Carrie Quater, the president and executive director of the Sanford Springvale Chamber of Commerce. And Carrie has brought a wonderful person who's a return guest on our radio station in for today's conversation.
Today I brought in Jennifer Putnam, who is the executive director of Waypoint.
Hi, Carrie.
Hi. Thank you for joining us.
I'm so glad to be here today.
We're really excited to have you in and tell us all about Waypoint and the services you offer and find out a little bit about you.
Great. Let's get started.
So I think Waypoint's coming up on a pretty monumental anniversary. Jennifer, can you tell us a little bit about what's going on this year at Waypoint?
I can. It's Waypoint, formerly Waband's 60th anniversary. So 1966, summer of 1966. Many of us weren't around then yet. And that is when our nonprofit got its sea legs, so to speak. And it started with a group of parents who wanted their children who had special needs like Down syndrome and other disabilities to be able to participate in basic summer activities that we all kind of take for granted. And so that's how Waband started, as a summer camp out on Bonnevic Lake.
And I think that, it's so amazing to think that, I don't say amazing is probably the right word, but it's monumental to think that there wasn't anything before that. It was only 60 years ago. So with 60 years, let's go to 1965 or 1964 or whatever. There was so much stigma, and it was just accepted that people with disabilities would live a different life than the rest of us. And Waypoint, I think, was one of the first organizations to come along, or Waband back then, to really destigmatize everything that people with developmental disabilities, deal with. And I think of that quite often, of like what life was like in a very short amount of time. 60 seems like a long time in life, but when you think about it, this really just a blip on the radar.
Right. It wasn't a priority to ensure that these children in this case were thought about in a way that could help them, feel included and feel like they have a place to go and do fun things. That wasn't on the radar. And I love when things start with like this grassroots movement of like the parents. Like when a lot of these organizations that we know of now start with these, people in a community who say, we've got to band together because if no one's going to help us, we have to do it ourselves. And so like now we're going to band together and we're going to create this thing that will help our kids, and then we can expand and include others. Like
that's exactly the way that it happened too. The people whose children had special needs, they understood what their children needed, but society around them really didn't. And so as they grew and as they grew programming, I think other people began to understand more fully. Then we made our way into the 70s and 80s. At that point, there were still institutions in the state of Maine. And, if you look at the history of Pineland Farms, you see that, the history there is a brutal one of people with intellectual disabilities and autism being institutionalized. And as that system shut down and, really across the country, but Maine was a leader in that, we saw that the community, really the greater Sanford community, came together to embrace the individuals that we work with, whether that's adults or children. And that continues so nicely to this day. And our members, we call them our members, are very much included in their community, whether that's, delivering food to food pantry or to Meals on Wheels, whether that's activities that are helping them, gain some skills. So it's really been nice to see as the director.
Sure. And what are the age ranges? Because you work with children and adults. So can you tell us a little bit about the difference between how you approach those two programs?
Yeah, so we provide something called care coordination for children and families, and that can really be birth to up to age 21. And so that's helping families and children coordinate services that they might need to develop to their highest level of skills. And that is our children's program. We have a separate children's program that is an educational program, and that is our Fraser Ford School, which you might have seen as you passed by us. And that school has been around for quite a while. Right now, it is, and it's grown from just being a pre-K into pre-K through grade 5.
Wow.
And so we serve a lot of kids with autism or other developmental disabilities, children who need that specialized one-to-one interaction. And so, every day we see the changes that can happen when their needs are focused on and when their individual educational needs are being met. And so we have sending schools from all over the area that send children there, as well as parents on the pre-K side that do so.
Okay. So what's the population of the school right now? How many students do you think you have around right now?
We have just over 50 kids. Okay. And so most of our children require one-to-one. Ed Tech, I'm going to put in a plug for anyone who wants to.
I see the signs sometimes, Ed Tech 3.
Yeah, Ed Tech 3. And so those are the folks that work day to day with the teachers to provide that support and structure and education to the kids. And so we're always looking for more, because for every child that we take off the wait list, and it is an extensive wait list really throughout the state, we need one ed tech to be able to provide the service. So
now, are the students like tuitioned in through their towns because they're having special services?
Yes.
So it's no cost to the parents.
That's right. It's no cost to the parents ever. And then you're right, for the K through 5, that's how that works.
Okay, great.
Who was, or is Fraser Ford one person, or is it
hyphenate?
Yeah, is it? Well, no, I mean, is it represent two people?
Yeah.
It does. It represents some former executive directors and assistant executive director,
wow.
Jan Frazier and Charlene Ford. And they were instrumental women, women leaders at a time when you didn't see quite so much of that. And so that's how Frazier Ford
I'm guessing
came by
they
its
were
name.
moms.
They may well have been. I'm not even sure.
They were probably saying, this is happening.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. So one of the major events coming up is, we're recording this in May, but we're about a month away from some of the fun times that I think one of the most fun occasions that Waypoint has every single year. Can you tell us a little bit about Music Fest this year?
I can, yeah. So Music Fest is going to be held on Saturday, June 6th from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock. And it's going to be just a great party, actually, down by our waterfront on Bonnegbeg Lake. You still see some of the old summer camp cabins if you come down there. And, it's a beer garden, it's food trucks, it's just so much fun, great music. Fugitive is opening, and then Motor Booty is headlining. They're such a lot of fun, on any given day. It's
They're
a
always
great
a good
party.
time.
They are. They're always a good time. And it's, it's for a great cause.
Dress up disco themed, or is it just casual fun?
Even I do that to some extent.
Wow,
Yeah.
there's the price of admission.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So wear your best 70s and 80s.
So they are, I'm speaking of Motor Booty Affair, they're very in tune with the organization. And do they interact with the members during the show at all?
They do. They interact with everyone, actually. So anybody who wants to get up and dance and have a good time, they're definitely there for it. So, and they've been headlining for us for the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. And so right now, they know us, we know them, and we have a great relationship with them. And, you can go on their website or our website, waypointmaine.org, to read a little bit more about it, to buy tickets. And, even if you can't come, you can support us in other ways. So, feel free to do so if you can't come. But if you can, it's a great Saturday night in June. So,
yeah, hopefully it'll be beautiful out.
I hope so too.
Nighttime in June is the best.
It is. It's nice and light late at night. The waterfront's spectacular at that time of year. So
when you sit back as the executive director and you get to take it all in, during Music Fest, and you see members who become friends and you develop relationships with, interacting with Motor Booty Affair, tell me what that feeling's like for you.
Well, I have to say first and foremost that it makes me really proud of the work that we do, and really, really grateful for the team that we have on board at Waypoint. I mean, right now we're up to about 350 employees, both in the greater Sanford area, in our western region, in the Oxford, Norway area. And we're just so thrilled to have such a fantastic team of direct care workers who work with our adults, and then ed techs and teachers and case managers that work with our children as well. So,
is there a campus out in that area, in the Oxford area also?
There is,
oh, okay.
yes. We merged another organization into ours last fall. And so we have a campus out there on Pottle Road in Oxford.
Wow, that's great. Because, I mean, that's pretty far out from the coast, and then you get to Sanford, and then you get a little farther, but it doesn't mean there's any less need necessarily.
No, there's not. We have an office in Bridgeton now as well, so that bridges the little bit of the York County gap there. Yeah. So,
wow. Any big surprises or anything special going on at the 60th anniversary party, or can you not tell?
I can't say there's any huge surprises, but I will say it's going to be a fun time, and I know we'll have some giveaways that we wouldn't otherwise have.
That's fun.
So we're excited about that. And, you were asking me sort of like what my thoughts are. And when I look at our campus, because I do walk down and see those summer camp cabins where it all began on on an almost everyday basis, it really brings it home that it takes all of us, it takes the families, but it takes the community as well to make sure that we're being inclusive of the folks who might not otherwise be included. But it also gives something back to us that I think it's not just a one-way street. So it's a sort of symbiotic thing where we're getting something from this experience as well. We're feeling good about ourselves in the community and about, how we're helping people who otherwise I think might not have the opportunities that they have now.
There is a gentleman, and I know we probably aren't going to use names of members just out of respect, but there's one gentleman that sticks out to me where he must be, he's in his 60s, maybe 70s, and he loves music. And I see him, around the community quite a bit, and it has become a friendship where I see him. And I saw him at Friendsgiving last year, which was a lot of fun. And then he ended up seeing a show at Rochester Opera House. We gave him tickets to the show, and every single time I run into him, we share that memory of a show, because music is something that really drives the members as well. So I think it's very. And do you know? I don't really know why that is. What unifies? Why is music the unifying thing for members of Waypoint? Do you know?
Well, I think music is the unifying force for all of us when we think about it. When we think about, look back on your childhood, look back on some of your experiences that you had in the community. Music is that glue, right? Seacoast Oldies. As soon as a song comes on, I know every word to it, right? And so that's so true for all of us, and it's no less true for the folks that we work with as well. But to your point about somebody's interest being developed and cultivated, that can be music, but we also have folks that are interested in art. We have folks that are interested in, anything else, just like the rest of us, right? And so really identifying what that is and how we can make that happen for somebody, I think, is a big part of what we do with our day program, and also with some of the folks who are in our group homes and who participate in our in-home support program.
I wanted to ask about those summer cabins. So do you still have the summer camp? Like, does the school year sort of transition into more of a camp setting, or do you keep things pretty consistent for consistency's sake?
Yeah, so the summer camp hasn't operated for over 20 years.
Wow.
It's been many years, and I don't think we could get that started again. So we wanted to do something that honored sort of that legacy. So what we do now for our folks who participate in in our services, but also for our employees and their families, is that we hire a lifeguard every year. And it's sort of one of the nice perks about being an employee at Waypoint. Like 5 or 6 days a week, you can come down to the waterfront. You can come with your family. We have a movie night. We have bonfire, fire
sounds
pit.
nice.
Yeah, we have boat rides. You can take out a kayak. And it's a really nice opportunity that everyone doesn't necessarily get in their day-to-day.
Right.
So
it's good to mix it up a little bit too in the summer.
It
a
is.
little bit of fun.
Have a little relaxation.
Make those memories. And,
yeah.
Jennifer, you didn't have these perks in many of your other positions. How did you find your way to Waypoint?
Yeah, so my background is in social work, and after I worked in social work for many years with people living with HIV, I moved over to work with folks with intellectual disabilities. And that may seem like two very different populations, and it is, but it's also folks who have experienced sort of living at the margins of our community and our society for many years. And so that for me resonated as I came over to do this work. And you're right, I've never worked at a place that has had the perk of being able to jump in the lake and take a swim after work. So.
You've had people tell you to jump in a lake, but you literally do jumping in a lake. That's crazy. What about some of the members who, we've talked a lot about the campus, and we've talked about the lake and everything, but what if a member wants to live at home? Are there services available for that?
There are. So, one of the services that we provide is something called a shared living service, and it's, most similar to adult foster care, and that can be the individual's own family member or parent, but it can also be somebody who's just a community member who wants to open up their home. We pay a generous stipend, we provide training, we provide support, and then an individual just moves in and becomes sort of part of that family. So it's a really nice opportunity for our adult members who don't want to live in a group home setting but still need some extra support.
And it gives them a little bit of independence outside of a group setting.
It does,
too,
yes.
so
It's
that's
nice. It's nice that way. And they can still, often go and do all kinds of other community activities or participate in our day program too.
Well, fantastic. And, we're all going to be getting together on a local basis very soon, aside from Music Fest. Carrie, you want to open up on that one?
Yeah, we'll be doing our business after hours in just a couple weeks. You can check the website of the Chamber of Commerce and find out more about that. But we're excited. We'll be at the Springvale location.
That's right.
And tell us what happens at the Springvale location.
Yeah, so our office in Springvale is for our day program, which I mentioned, for adults with intellectual disabilities. And then the back half of that building is geared towards our adult services, so adult case management and program support for our group homes and other services. That's going to be at 102 Pleasant Street in Springvale, and that's Wednesday, May 20th from 5 to 7. So all are welcome to come. It's going to be some good catered food. And
oh, yeah, I heard Cruise and Infusion's going to be there. It's always good for a good snacks and meals.
Right.
Yeah.
And at that location as well, we have, I think, what is a really unique service, which is our remote support service. So that is where, for people who want to live more independently but do need some support, don't necessarily need a person there, we provide remote support technology. And you'll see that sort of base is located at 102 Pleasant Street. And then in an individual's home, there can be sensors, door sensors. We have stove sensor in case someone leaves their stove on accidentally. It can be turned off remotely.
Wow.
We have cameras in the public areas of the house, like the living room, dining room.
That's great. So many safety measures.
It's really unique, and it's unique to our agency, to Waypoint. We're the only folks that are providing this sort of in-house for people with intellectual disabilities in Maine.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
What is the biggest need at Waypoint right now?
You had a wish list. What's on the wish list? We ask this of our nonprofits a lot. Tell us your wish list.
Well, we always need folks who are willing to roll their sleeves up and maybe get a little, get their hands a little dirty, doing some volunteer work, whether it's on our trails. We have a nice trail system out by our waterfront as well. But we also have, other opportunities to help support us just by really, I think, getting the word out about what we do. And where I know this is a drumbeat that you've heard before about, we're always looking for good staff.
Yeah.
And people can work part-time, they can work full-time. We'll train anyone who needs to be trained. For instance, we're still looking for a lifeguard, and we're willing to train anyone who wants to be a lifeguard.
Wow.
So
To bring this conversation somewhat full circle, as we're starting to wind down, probably about 2 or 3 minutes left. When we were growing up, being a lifeguard, there was a waiting list for that. Like it was Baywatch. It was pre-Baywatch. I grew up pre-Baywatch. But point being, like that was a job that you
gig.
would, you jump through fire to get.
At
and
the
now,
community pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you can't. And now they're looking for lifeguards right and left. I mean, whether it's Aquaboggin or Funtown or Waypoint as well.
Do you? I'm just curious. Do you partner with any of the local universities or schools as sort of getting the young people in the door with these jobs and whatnot?
We do, and we've also partnered with Sanford High School to that same effect.
Great.
Yeah, because our direct care workers, we're willing to train folks, and they don't need anything other than a high school education and a willingness to sort of be compassionate and learn about the people that they're working with. So.
Can you tell us about some of the employees who came in and stayed? You have some people that have been there for decades now.
We do. I work across from my office, somebody who started off working with in the summer camp and now is working in our compliance department 25 plus years later.
Wow.
So we have quite a few people who have stayed for the long haul. It's really nice to see. They're very committed to the organization. They're committed to the work that we do, and they are the wonderful mentors to the next generation of staff that we need to continue our work.
Sure, that's so important.
Yeah.
Passing down that knowledge.
It really
is really important.
Yeah, and it's nice to have, a workplace and a work culture that values that and that really respects sort of wherever people are in their career journey. I started off as a direct care worker, and I became an executive director. So it's certainly a path that can happen over time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. That you were able to, because when you speak of your career, we often talk to people, who have been in the same vocation for 30, 35 years, or someone who's just starting. And there's a difference between the person who's just starting and the person who's like been there for 35 years. But say, I'm not saying you've been there for 35 years, but you have the energy and passion of someone who is just starting. And it almost seems like this is a bit of a calling for you.
Well, I think you're right about that. And I think generally speaking, it is a calling for people because it's not necessarily one that gets a lot of sort of attention out in the greater community necessarily. But I think, from our board of directors, who's also very committed to the work that we do, to really our maintenance worker, it just doesn't matter who you are in the organization. We all understand that we have a specific role to play and how important it is.
Very important role. And then the organization plays an important role in this area as well. So we're excited to celebrate your 60 years with you.
Thank you. We're excited too. We can't wait to see you there.
Yeah.
So.
It's Your County Conversations. It's been a great one. We've had Jennifer Putnam, the executive director over at Waypoint Maine, in this week. Now, if you're just catching this conversation about halfway through, you can listen to it in the on-demand section of the Seacoast Oldies app. That'll be up very, very soon. It also exists as a podcast across Spotify, Apple, all the digital platforms. And we'll do this again next Sunday for York County Conversations. On behalf of Carrie Quater, the executive director and president of the Sanford Springville Chamber of Commerce, I'm Andy Austin. Have yourself a great day.
You've been listening to York County Conversations. For more information about this episode, to be on the show, or become a member of the Chamber, reach out to sanfordchamber.org. That's sanfordchamber.org.